Can I talk about something that's not a news item? That's just more about something, that a phenomenon that happens. So after I was on Carlin's show yesterday, and Carlin's in the chat. Hi, Carlin. Um, one of the comments said, because she and I mentioned Milo and the fact that he's going to be at the Milwaukee um, Better Discourse Conference, and somebody in the comments said something to the effect of, "You guys should steer clear of, mentioning him or in any way being associated with him because of his comments about being 13 and,
Oh my God.
pedophilia and all this stuff." So I had something I wanted to say about that. First of all, if you believe the story they were pushing about him, about those comments, I don't think you've done enough research yet. You should actually check out what he said afterwards, and talking about how he was molested at 13, and talking about the distinction he was making between someone who's molested when they're a child and someone who, I think when he was 17, which is legal consent age in Great Britain, he was in a relationship with an older man, and he was talking about a specific phenomenon that happens in the gay community, and saying that there tend to be a lot of these sort of older man, younger man relationships. Those are two different things he was talking about that got conflated, first of all. But second of all, he has in his reporting actually exposed several pedophiles. Like, it's one of the things he's concerned about doing. And he reflected, I think he says reckless things all the time. I think he says outlandish things all the time. And I think he sometimes says things just to get attention. He doesn't put a lot of thought into them sometimes. But he did put a lot of thought into what he said afterwards, after it became a big deal. And I would really encourage people to go to see that. But aside from that, the reaction to what he said wasn't there for George Takei. George Takei said something very similar, also on a radio show. Nobody reacted that way. And then the other thing is that, just aside from the specifics of this particular Milo thing that somebody was calling out, I don't have to endorse everything a person has said, to agree with everything they've said. I don't have to defend them. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to try and explain. That's more than I even needed to do. The explanation I just gave you about him. Like, you should go and read that yourself. You're free to make up your
Absolutely.
own mind, and I'm free to make up mine. But what I won't do is, I will not participate in this cancel culture. One part of the cancel culture being this whole guilt by association thing,
Right.
where they try and make some people radioactive and then say, you should never, for the sake of your own image, right? You should never associate with that person. Well, first of all, I don't need to distance myself from him. I don't even know him. I've never met him. The distance is already there. I'm not going to refrain from referencing someone, or referencing someone's work, or referencing something they've said that I do agree with, just because there are things I don't agree with, or because the culture has made that person radioactive, or because they've made mistakes or whatever. I'm not going to be a part of that. So you're free to do that on your own, but giving me advice and telling me that I should be selfishly concerned with my image, that it might hurt me to associate myself with some people by referencing them, well, that shows me where your priorities lie. Uh, my priorities don't lie there. Um, my priority lies in, not, I don't want to contribute to that culture where more and more people become radioactive, and then people are afraid to ever mention their name or to be at a conference with them. I think that's cowardly, and I think it is naive, because down the road, that circle of people who are considered off limits, the unpersoned people, the people you're not allowed to share a conference stage with, or you're not allowed to mention, it's going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to include you one day. And it could include me one day, and so be it. But I'm not gonna stop mentioning people, or referring to their work, or reading them, or whatever, because you think awful things about them. You're free to think awful things about them. I'm not going to let what you think about them influence what I think, or what I choose to talk about or read. So that's just I am tired of this happening, and I've seen it happen with a lot of different figures who have now become, oh, you're never supposed to mention that person, you're never supposed to. Mikey and I were invited to be on Gavin McInnes's show in 2018. We did a walkaway segment with Brandon Tatum, Brandon Strock, Gracie, our friend Gracie, and Zach Heen, a few other people. And before we went on, I had people saying, "Oh, you can't go on that show. You shouldn't do it. You know that Gavin McInnes is a white nationalist." And Mikey and I had a conversation about it, and we both did some research because I didn't know much about Gavin,
I
and
remember
I
you
didn't
asking
come
me
to
like,
that.
is he a white nationalist?
Yeah, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I asked a few people, and I did my own research, and I read a lot, and I watched a lot of videos. Like Milo, I think he has tactics I would not use. He is not me. I'm not him. But do I think he's a white nationalist? Absolutely not. And so I went on his show, and uh, I refuse to be a part of that because it's naive. It's not just that I think it's morally wrong to be a part of that, but that kind of cancel culture, like being afraid of being associated with people. But I also think it's naive because it will come to get you eventually anyway. If you participate in it, if you make it, you're going to make it worse. So that's my little thing on that. I'm sure that's going to come up again in the future. You once talked to so and so. You once retweeted so and so. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, I think it's immoral. It's anti-enlightenment. I would have Milo on our show. Milo, you want to come on the show? Come on the show. I don't agree with everything Milo says. I shouldn't have to say that I don't agree with everything Milo says, but
yeah,
he is brilliant. He's got their number. He's brilliant. He's an excellent writer. He's funny, and he has the left's number. And so uh, they hate him for that. And
yeah,
I don't. This idea that you are responsible for all of the behavior of every person in the room with you at any given time is
yeah.
it's not. This is the other thing. It's not genuine. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be genuine. It's intentional to get you. It's intentional as a way to ostracize him and to deplatform him. It's a way to ostracize him. That's all it's meant to do. Um, and
And it's cowardice.
of
And you
course,
know
it's
when
cowardice. Yeah.
and my our friend Mike Harlow is currently permabanned from Twitter for the third time for no reason. He hasn't violated their terms of service. They have a target on his back. I think because they realize he's charismatic and he's damaging to the social justice narrative, and they're trying to prevent him from amassing a huge following before he gets there.
Yep.
And he's talked to me about how some people, once you get permanently banned by Twitter, some people are even afraid to, people who have platforms and stuff are even afraid to mention him, or because it's that fear of guilt by association with this wrong thinker or this permanently banned person or whatever. And
Right.
yeah, I'm not going to be a part of that. That's all.
Right.